Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Derp Your Hooves. So today we are in the Cessna Longitude with a very unusual custom livery, one of my first. So I just think it's kind of fitting for this type of plane. So what I want to do really quick while I'm here and I have the external view, again, just I've flown this plane a bit and I know that it has some quirks, so I just want to make sure the thrust reversers work and everything else. Make sure my spoilers work, all my keys are bound. Sometimes things happen, so I want to make sure that all of our bases are covered, so we do have to have it all the way back. And it's been a while since I've flown this plane to get our thrust reversers going. Okay, very important to know. Throttle has to be all the way back. So, this is not a study level aircraft. Hopefully that doesn't turn anybody off from it, but it is still a fun aircraft. So we are going to be taking off out of one of the Grand Canyon's airports that has a runway long enough for this thing. Give it a notch of flaps, make sure our trim is set. We can adjust all the other settings, and it shouldn't be much of a long flight. I tried to pick something, within a reasonable amount of time, because oh, and there goes the caution. I'm pushing the plane a little too hard. So we should just clear the runway in this. Now, I have to say, let's get off the ground first before I say anything. And then just pull up. We've got plenty of runway to take off in this thing. And there we go, and we are airborne. Let's just kind of maintain this. Right. And bring our gears up.
Cessna Papa Yankee, continue for south departure.
Sounds good.
Cessna Papa Yankee, leaving my airspace frequency change approved.
Canyon Tower Cessna Delta Echo Romeo Papa Yankee frequency change.
So I haven't flown this plane in a while. Honestly, when I first bought the sim, it was one to my absolute favorites. Let's kind of do a course correction there. But it was one of my absolute favorites. And, well, I guess I started falling into the trap of what's a study level plane and what's not. And really, to an extent, as long as you're having fun in the sim and you're enjoying the flight and you're enjoying flying the planes, I suppose it doesn't really matter if it's study level or not. I mean, if you're, want more of the piloty experience and what's it like to, then of course you're going to want the study level aircraft. But, if you're just looking to, say, hey, that looks like fun, then, by all means. It doesn't have to be study level. So, why is this not study level? Well, all the buttons don't work, all the features don't work. I'm sure someone else could explain it much better than me, but that would be the basics of why it's not study level. But it is a beautiful aircraft. So if you just want to kind of get up in the skies, and you don't want to fly like a very large jet, this is one of them. And this actually has a range so that you could go cross-country in it. Well, you can go 3,000 plus miles. If you completely gas it up, I think you can go 3,500 miles in the sim. So it's a long-range private jet. Definitely lots of fun. So let's kind of get going, because we were headed towards Denver, and a lot of people would say you can't bank like this. And I'm going to have to agree with that. You know, with passengers on a plane, especially a more luxurious plane, you probably don't want to scare the passengers. So, it's been a while again. And let's find our map range button. So now it's around here. Frequency map range. So we want to zoom out to kind of find how far off course we are on our flight plan. And we're about 90 degrees off. So let's gently bank. Bank and turn into where we should be as we gain altitude. Okay, so now we're kind of pointed back in the direction that we need to be in, because we've got our magenta line there. It's going to be a common thing with me and the coffee, huh? You can open the bus tie down there. And it's always great when you hide the yoke, because we don't really need it, right? But what I do want to do is I want to engage the autopilot. I mean, this technically is a short flight, so let's go ahead and let's engage the autopilot. So put the flight director on, hit the autopilot. And then let's hit nav mode so it follows the flight plan. And we want to watch the speed on this too, and I don't know why it's flying itself, so I guess I really shouldn't complain about how it's banking. You know, I guess I was going in too steep. And so, I mean, that's pretty much what you want. And when you get to your altitude, you can hit altitude hold. But you see that I'm kind of approaching that whole, make sure our flaps are off, You obviously don't want to go above like 255 in this plane. So you'd say, well, but how do I set the auto throttle? Well, it's right here. And you'll see the number. You should. As long as the plane doesn't make me out to be a liar. You click it over, speed. Well, you turn the dial. And eventually, you're going to see this arrow. There it is. And that's going to go to where you want your speed to be. So I want it, let's say I want it about there. Right? 249-ish. And then I'm going to push the auto throttle button. So that's kind of important to remember, because if you don't do that, and the plane's banking all by itself, then it's not going to want to be on your level of auto throttle. And I think there's another button that we have to push. I think we have to push like vertical speed or something. See, because you're going to get an overspeed. Oh, we don't want that. We want auto throttle. So obviously I've got to crank it back, because we're going too fast at 236. So the higher we get, the faster we go. Now, I may not be the best to kind of be your guide on the auto throttle. So let's get it a little bit farther down. Right? And again, I mean, I thought it was just you hit autopilot nav approach, you have vertical nav. Maybe it was vertical nav. I don't remember. And then you would just hit auto throttle. And it should take us roughly to where we were before. And this may sound kind of, you know, it's like, wow, this is kind of Mickey Mouse what he's doing. Yeah, again, this is also not a study level aircraft, so. But auto throttle's a great thing. Say if you're going to do a longer flight. And, you know, it will automatically select. So 48,000 feet is good. So let's actually do an altitude hold. So autopilot, vertical speed, nav, heading, altitude hold. Let's do an altitude hold at this point. We don't need to be flying higher than 48,000 feet in this aircraft. That's plenty fine. But traveling at 180 knots for this aircraft, well, you see it says your true airspeed right there is 421 knots. So that's letting you know, we're actually bucking it across the sky. But you're going to have to set your auto throttle, your speed mode to the indicated airspeed. And again, you just have to, play with this knob until you see it. And there you go. And we could set it to, I don't know, let's be safe and say 200. Go ahead and hit auto throttle. And in theory, if everything's working correctly, it should go ahead and it should go ahead and not go any higher than where I set it. And if not, I have my auto throttle cheat here, which is a physical device that I always talk about. And one day when I clean this desk, whenever that's going to be, I can show you that, I got my own auto throttle. So here we are, right? And another thing that auto throttle does great is, I can go outside and show you the outside of the aircraft. And I can say, gee, you never turned your landing lights off. You got your wing inspection lights on. Bad pilot. What's wrong with you? So that's right. Landing lights off. Nav lights can be on. Those lights can be on. Any collision lights, fine. Logo lights. But wasn't there like a wing inspection light? Right. That's the ice light. And then we can go back and you can say, oh, you turned all your lights off. So you're not flying around with all your lights on because, that's not very professional to be flying around with your landing lights on or your taxi lights on. Wing inspection, I guess, is fine, if it was icy. But so here we go. And so we're outside the external view of the Longitude. And I think, honestly, this is a beautiful plane. It's a beautiful plane. I love it. I loved it from the beginning. And it definitely went through some of the hiccups of all the updates. Sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. And boy, was I bummed when it didn't. And there were third-party add-ons for it. So someone else loved it too. To do all that extra work. And now it seems to be working well for an ignorant pony pilot like myself. And it looks like I, established we're holding at our altitude, roughly. And we're roughly at our speed. So it looks like I pushed all the right buttons on the plane. And it's flying itself. So again, in my opinion, it's a beautiful aircraft. And yes, so you say, well, why is it not study level? Well, things like the heads-up display don't work. I see an operative. It's got a bunch of stuff that doesn't work. And that kind of bums people out, and it bums me out a little bit too, because I could have done a lot more with this plane. Being what it is. And they also could have added a passenger cabin, which doesn't exist. You get the cockpit, so you get the flying experience. You get the pleasure of what it would be like to fly the Longitude in more of a game mode than an actual sim pilot mode. And you may even look, and you may say, well, this looks kind of like if you've flown it. It looks like the Honda Jet in a way, and it does. It has a similar layout, and, this is actually a little more, it's a little faster than the Honda Jet. I think it holds more people, too. A little more posh than the Honda Jet, but, definitely has a longer range. And I think it's the Citation is the other one. I forget what it is. But there's the other, and I'll have to look it up. And again, you got to forgive my ignorance. When it comes to GA aircraft, I'm still learning all of them, and there's so many to learn. If I was going to memorize every single one. But I know that there's another Cessna in the sim. I think it is the Citation. And they're like, no, it's not. You're in the Citation. You're in the Citation Longitude. So there's the other one, and that's everyone's favorite. And I know it doesn't have the range of this one. And I know that there is a study level add-on for it, so you can make it a study level aircraft with the free add-ons. Forget what they are. If you know what they are, feel free to, chime in and put it in the chat. But that's actually definitely what some of the more of the sim pilots prefer. People who, or the sim pilots that like study level aircraft, because this is not. This is, it's cool. It's cool. It's beautiful on the outside. Again, just, and say, well, the unicorns aren't my thing. And neither is My Little Pony. Well, then maybe you won't get the joke. But, definitely, just even if you took rarity off the tail and changed the name of the plane, it's still you know, how can you not say this isn't, beautiful, sleek, aerodynamic, well done? And I think it came with the premium version of Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. Oh, and you know what? Again, let's put my disclaimer in, which I should put in all the time, which is, remember, I'm not getting paid by anybody, Asobo, Microsoft, a third-party developer, to broadcast my opinions on the sim, on the aircraft. They're solely my opinions. So I'm not being bought. And I'm not worried about, losing my sponsorship. And I have full respect for people who do have sponsorships. Maybe someday I will become sponsored. We will see. But until then, my opinion remains entirely my own. How's that? So, if you're just the average Joe, like me, the average pony, it's a little better. You're just like, hey, I bought this sim, and I just, I just want to do something fun. Well, when you learn how to fly this plane, and it really is simple to fly, you can do all the long hauls, but you can do it as a private jet. And in my opinion, again, and I'm sorry, everyone who loves the jumbos and the airliners, just, I'm a smaller plane kind of person, kind of pony, kind of guy, and it's just my preference, And this will, again, it'll get you coast to coast. This will get you from California to Hawaii without a problem. Get you from Hawaii to Japan without a problem. If you want to hop across the Pacific. My understanding is it'll hop across the Atlantic too. So, it'll cover bodies of water. You may be pushing it a little bit, but it'll do it. The right altitude, it'll do it. Get the right fuel economy going. And it's really pleasant to fly. So, really is. But again, I couldn't be all cheeky and happy and pop in the passenger area for you, because it doesn't exist in this plane. There's nothing but a void behind us. A big empty shell to let you know that you're in a sim. So, auto throttle's holding. Altitude hold is holding. We are fully automated autopilot. And we are good to go. And I know I didn't show you how to start up the plane. It's really simple. If I can remember. But it is actually pretty simple. To go ahead and start it. That morning coffee. And, that's pretty much it. So if you bumble and fumble a little bit like me, and I've definitely bumbled and fumbled in the beginning when I started learning how to fly this plane. Trial by error, because, who needs to read a manual? I've flown planes, and, I used to fly Afterburner, in the video game arcades long ago when it existed. I don't need a manual. It's so hard. You give it some gas, you pull up on the stick, and you're off, right? Yeah, for the most part. But, again, it's just beautiful, and we can enjoy this scenery as it kind of combs on by. So we should be, almost halfway through our flight. So, well, then that's my cue to fast forward. Well, okay. If the takeoffs and landings are more of your thing. So, again, just kind of an outside view. We've got we've got a little bit of time to go. What would you say, 15 minutes or so before we have to begin our landing procedure, start descending, and, not do what I love to do, which is, rip the wings off the plane. And no, I wasn't, well, I never ripped the wings off of flies and made them walk when I was a kid. Maybe because I never thought about it. But, you read The Far Side and, you're like, really? I know there are kids that, it's just a fly. It's not like it's a bird. Right. But I can rip the wings off of any plane, I can guarantee you of that. And, this sim does not offer us the old crash function. It just kind of blacks out. It's just, you get that tone, and then it just goes black, and it says you overstress the aircraft, which I guess is, better than plummeting to the ground and hearing screaming and, I don't know what's wrong and I can't, yeah. And I'm sure some people would love that. Someone can make that as an add-on too. So, here we go. We're just flying over the western United States between Arizona and Colorado, going to possibly one of the most confusing airports that there is. And I did it on purpose, everybody. Because, well, let me have a look at this map on my other monitor. We have, at Denver, we have just physical runways, right? And remember, everything's ×2 because they all have 2 directions. So I'm going to give you the base number, and then you multiply that by 2. I know that you guys are better at math than I am. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Only 6 runways? So, no, that can't be right. Yeah, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so there's actually 6 physical runways made out of asphalt. Right? And, well, the pattern of it has been questionable. But, so there's 6 of them. And you'd say, well, which one would I land on? Well, because technically there's going to be 12, right? Because 2 times 6 is 12. So you're going to have 12 different runways. And they're going to assign you one of them. And again, it being the sim, most likely it's going to assign you the active runway that's, directly in front of you. So you'll be, oh, right or left, and I can just kind of look at my my navigational aid, my what's it called? I'm still learning the names of all the gauges. I call it a compass. And people are like, no, it's a navigational, it's a directional. Forgive me. It's a compass. That's how all the runways are organized. So, I mean, as long as you can kind of be like, oh, yeah, right, and I've kind of given lessons on the different runways and how you find them and how they work. And I'm always happy to do it, but probably not today when we come into Denver, and my lovely assistant has handed me my coffee. She would make a good stewardess, but she also has other talents that are more suited to her than being a stewardess. So I could have another cup of coffee so I could make more noises and go, and you'd be like, what the hell is wrong with this guy? You stop drinking coffee if you... Yeah. Because coffee's good in the morning. It's a legal stimulant and it gets you going. Yeah. Anyways. So yeah, I'm just saying that Denver International is... Not only is Denver a mile high in the runways, hey, there's more fun facts about it. The runways are longer because at a higher altitude, it takes you you need more distance to take off, and I think also to land. Something about science and physics and stuff. Um, like I said, Google's your friend in life now that we have the interweb. Um, so, I mean, if you don't know it, you can Google it, and, maybe you'll remember it, maybe you won't. But, you can actually say, why is the sky blue, Google? And say, because you're stupid, Timmy. No, it won't say that. It sends you to a bunch of different links, and, go get your information there. Because no one's stupid. We're all just ignorant. Because there's actually a difference between stupid and ignorant. I'm somewhere in the middle. Suppose we all are. But so more about, Denver International Airport, because it's like, do you have ADD? Well, possibly. It's quite possible. I'm, going to skip that whole let's diagnose pony part, because we might pull out a whole, treasure trove of diagnosis for pony. Anyhow, so yeah, I'm looking here and I'm saying, and I do remember where the GA parking is-ish in Denver. But so this airport is, it's like a pilot's nightmare if you don't know it, because you'll be like, what? Land where? You're like, exactly. Pick 1 out of 12. But then again, like I'm saying, you can use your navigational compass, directional doodad here to say, hey, maybe that's like, let's see, we have 34, right? So, well, 34 would be like down here. So, what do we have in like, I don't know. What's our heading? 45 degrees. Is it 45 degrees or is it 450? Well, again, it's depends if you're civilian or military. So that's like what, 360 and 0. Then you have 1, 2, so that would be 30, 60. So yeah, it would be, 45. Because how could you have 450 degrees in a 360 degree circle? So it'll be 45, so I could scroll down here to my map that is, conveniently out of sight. And do it without cycling through with the tab key, so you don't see all the windows, because who knows what else Pony's looking at in the background, right? Makes your mind wonder. You don't really care. It's nothing interesting anyways. So I have 7, I have 35. So I would say that, 35 would be more north, and 17 would be more south, right? So since we're headed in a northeast direction, we'd want, well, we don't really get that option. There is no northeast runway. There's going to be north or east, and I would imagine the sim's probably going to pick like, 35 or like, 17, 16. I would imagine. But that's what I'm saying. There's like, and there's so many runways. I mean, here, you know what? I'll show you. Look, that's where we're going, and you tell me if you have no idea what you're doing and, what runway to pick, how are you going to figure that out? So in my early days, the sim's only been around for what, 2 years, right? So in some of the beginning days of flying this sim, I said, hey, yeah, Denver, that sounds cool. I'd love to go land at a, higher elevated airport, without knowing the layout of the, airport, because what does it really matter? I mean, it's a sim, right? And I was like stressed, and I'm like, what? And I like saw it as I flew by it, because I circled it, so I couldn't figure it out, and I'm like, now how am I supposed to figure that out? Because again, remember, I was talking about, and if you remember, if anyone's as old as I am and flies this, which I imagine some people are, if you remember the days of video game arcades, you threw quarters in a machine and they had this really cool game called Afterburner, and I think it was by Sega. And it was really cool because, like, Top Gun, the original Top Gun, before right before Maverick was the oldest captain in the Navy. Um, that was part 2, which I've missed, but I'll wait till it comes out on Netflix and I'll watch it then. Um, I'm sure it was really good too, but I'll wait. So it was a big thing, right? F-14, and they made Afterburner, and it was really cool. And we had video games like that, and Microsoft Flight Simulator at that time was pretty like cheesy, because computers at that time were like, go Google, the original Microsoft Flight Simulator, the color version from the 80s, and you'll be like, what? Like, yep. Those squares there are that's Chicago. That's the towers. That's the Sears Tower, which isn't the Sears Tower anymore. Even though the building still exists. It's like those 2 big rectangles. And other buildings that don't exist anymore, but some buildings that actually don't exist. But let's not go there. So, yeah. And I'm just saying, getting back, we're going to kind of put the truck back on the road a little bit. So, Denver, I mean, dude, I didn't know. I had no idea, where I was going, where I was landing. No. And for as much as I toot my own horn about, I've been flying flight sims for over 20 years. Well, I mean, I have on and off. I mean, I didn't always get to sit at home and be a flight sim pilot, although it is very entertaining and sometimes relaxing. But in the case of Denver International, kind of stressful. And I had never thought, too, that I would have stressed so much and actually had sweaty hands flying a flight sim. Which does happen occasionally. Especially if you do it in VR, and VR is a whole other slice of cake there. I mean, after you're done configuring your headset to work with your system to get yourself the best possible frame rate, then you can enjoy the VR setup that you have. And it is amazing. And I can live stream through VR too. Wow. Yeah, I can. But anyways, so I'm just saying, and yeah, if you fly in VR too, I mean, you'll really be like, oh, whoa, trust me, you will. Huge. But once you dial it in, just like, you kind of had to dial the sim in on your display, and if you haven't done it yet, if you really just plug this into your computer and just use the default settings, and you had a machine with a video card that was good enough, and you're like, I didn't have to change the settings. Well, if you actually tweak the settings to your card, depending on what you have, you can get some really good results. You can be like, wow, this is almost realistic. Almost. But what would I know? I've never actually flown a real plane. I can remember. But, then you're really talking about life and death. Trying to land a plane. Like I said, how hard could it be? You just give it lots of gas, and you pull back on the stick. This coffee's good. So, I'm looking at our GPS map down here. Because I can't use the VFR map in Sim Update 10 Beta, and it almost looks like I'm barely crawling along, but that's because I have pulled out so much. As we head towards Denver, with not much longer to go, to be honest with you. According to I can't scroll that way. I can't. Map range, map pointer. Well, it just seems to me that it's... Can I pan with this? No. Well, I can see that we're here, and I can, if I use the tools provided for me, without physically being able to see it on a map, which is very helpful. It says that our distance to Denver is 173 and counting nautical miles, which is, what's our true airspeed again? It's like, where to put it? Oh, I have it on Mach. That's confusing for someone like me. There we go. Oh, really? Speed Mach. Oh. I thought you could just push the button. I don't know how to push-pull the button. Well, Mach 0.8-ish. Right? Right. So what's that like? Mach 1 is fast. Oh, there we go. Right there. True airspeed. 467 knots. So that would be Mach 0.8. And your true airspeed and your ground speed is 490 knots. I have to look that up again. I'm a bad pilot. The outside air temperature is 58 degrees Celsius, so that's, I do know that that is just 2 degrees below freezing. And with the live weather, I'm sorry guys, we couldn't see the Rockies except for how we're seeing them there. You know, John Denver, right? What was it? Rocky Mountain High. That was one of his songs. John Denver was a pilot. Was a pilot. I heard he was inverted one day, and that was the last day. And I'm not joking about that. And some people hate John Denver, and some people are like, hey, why would you hate John Denver? I didn't hate John Denver. I didn't really know him. You know, he was just like a folk singer, and he acted in some movies, had that bowl haircut. He's probably one of the ones who brought the bowl haircut into fashion. But he did have some good music, and, you know, he had Rocky Mountain High, and, you know, I don't remember, but, God, I remember that, sorry, God, but I remember that from, you know, like, all of the, see, there's Denver National. I remember that from all the commercials, you know, as a younger person, that we used to have on TV, and they still have infomercials, right, at, like, you know, I'm sure they do. I don't really watch TV much anymore. But, you know, you sit there and it's like, hey, this is the greatest tape of ever. And, you know, it features all of Zamfir's nose flute classics. From I should have blown my nose before I started the concert to I think today my sinuses are clear. You know, but you'd have that, and then it would show all of the great hits, and Zamfir actually is a real musician. You know, and then it would have all the things, and it'd have, like, the fades, and you'd see, like, you know, the camera angles, you know, the different shots as they'd come in, and they'd have the effects to make it look really good if it was a really good infomercial, unless it was really cheesy. You know, and then you'd be like, oh, man, I mean, you know, $25 for, you know, and, okay, so tapes. Did you say tapes? Tapes or compact disc, because, you know, hey, doesn't get more hi-fi than compact disc. But they'd have those. They'd have the whole, you know, buy the tape that, you know, is probably going to be in the bargain basket, or the CD that's going to be in the bargain bin someday. Still, John Denver. Cheers to John Denver for all the awesomeness. I shouldn't talk bad about dead people. all the awesomeness, and he was a pilot, private pilot. Right, as we fly over Colorado, boy, as some people have said, now I realize it, it's like, can you focus? Sure. I mean, we're not in Colombia, so I can't talk about the fine coffee that I'm drinking in the background. Nothing but the best for Pony. We've got steak in my feed bag for dinner. Kobe beef in my feed bag. Someone has to strap it to my face, and I have to tell you, you have no idea how hard it is to fly a plane with hooves. And I'm trying to grab the yoke, and it's a nightmare. But back to the task at hand and the beautiful scenery in front of us. And Denver International being, according to the map, or my navigational aid in the middle, it looks like it's just over those mountains over there, right? And it looks like it's going to ask me to do a 90-degree turn. 90? Well, not 90. What would that be? That would be like 70 or something? No, it would be more than 90, so it would be like 110. Well, that funky looking angle down there. Let's switch to that external view for a second. Just kind of get out of the cockpit as I continue to drink my coffee. I hope this isn't distracting to anybody. That I'm just enjoying my second cup of coffee. And by the way, you know what time of year it is? I bought like this. Well, it wasn't a gallon, but I bought the pumpkin spice coffee creamer because this is pumpkin spice season, everybody. I hope you don't mind me calling you every pony. Hopefully there's no, copyright infringement on that. We're suing you. We have more money than we know what to do with, and we're suing you. That's how we get more money. But I love you guys. How does that work out? I mean, since we're just floating blindly through my head, the coffee was good, by the way. Since we're floating blindly through my head, kind of like this plane. Well, I said plane's on course. I wonder about that. And please, Disney, don't sue me because you're not going to get anything. I got some paper clips laying around here you can have, some trinkets, stuff. I could find some broken electronics you can have. But I wonder if that's ever happened. Someone's they're like, I love Disney. We're using it as an example. And then they're like, I'm going to live stream. And then they use something in their stream. And Disney's like, we're suing you. It's I don't have anything. I mean, would that turn you off? You'd be like, man, yeah, I'm never going to Disneyland again. I can't step foot on the property because, when your parents, and parents don't always do this, when your parents would spank you, be like, Timmy, if you don't quiet down and stop bothering your sister, I'm going to come back there. One of those. And I guess that's kind of what it's like. And it's then, you're like, my dad's such a prick. And she started it. One of those. But still, but you usually get over it with your dad. But just, would you be like, oh man. I know I would be upset, right? I'd be slightly upset. It would ruin my fantasy. So, speaking of Timmy. That almost looks like Timbo, but it's T-Mob. So, T-Mob 7177 is obviously flying Sim Update Beta, or it's the AI. And I wouldn't think so, not in the 737, right? That's, wasn't I just talking about that? So, 737, man, I know there's a bunch of them now, and there's like the one that no one likes. I have the one that no one likes. I don't know. I mean, it's not study level, but it's been fun. I had fun bouncing it on a runway. Man, maybe that's somewhere in my video archive of where I can't believe. Or I might even have it if I didn't delete the raw footage. That was just crazy. And it was set to realistic damage, but no plane bounces like that. Anyhow, 737, I don't know. I mean, maybe if it was gifted to me or something, or, I'd think about flying the latest one by whoever makes it. Because I hear it's great at study level and it's fun. But again, like I said, I kind of like the smaller jets. This Longitude's great for me. So that's what makes me think that it's probably not the AI. Because usually the AI planes, don't they like assign like BD 192, or AA for like American Airlines 131 with them the plane description underneath. Anyways, that's what I thought. I thought that it's usually fairly simple to be able to tell the difference between the two. So our airport is down there beneath that pea soup. Maybe it's in one of the pockets. And again, I chose a plane that doesn't fly like a 172. It doesn't fly like a Skymaster. It definitely doesn't fly like an F-16. So I'm going to have to be a little careful. And I'm going to pretend that we have passengers in the back. I'm going to go deep in my mind and imagine, and this may be a skill at some point in life, I'm going to go deep in my mind and I'm going to imagine that there's actually a passenger cabin behind me with some people that can afford to fly on this kind of plane. And, maybe I should behave a little bit when I, try and land the plane, because I don't want to terrify the people in my head. Oh, damn it. I don't need more people living up there. I'm sorry, sir. Anyways. But so, let's just pretend that there's people in the imaginary cabin behind me, and I really don't want to terrify them and have them thinking it's their last moments on Earth as I attempt one of my usual approaches as I would into an airport, which is probably, again, why it's a good thing that I'm not an actual pilot. So, but again, you'd say, so here we have the logistical problem of you're 48,000 feet in the air, and it looks like you're almost at the airport. What are you going to do? Well, obviously, it seems to me that we are not descending in a straight line. But what we should do, is we should have tuned to Denver Center and requested a transition because we cross states, right? We don't have time for that. Someone I worked with would say, I don't have time for that. So, airport's farther from you. We are looking for KDEN. KDEN. K Denver. What does the K stand for? And if I keep clicking, and of course, there it is. See, and so we select that, and I say, I want the tower. And I intend
Denver
to
Tower,
do a full...
Cessna Delta Echo Romeo Papa
I'm a
Yankee
woman
is
today.
50 miles
Okay.
southwest flight level for 90.
I didn't
India
remember
to land.
selecting the woman pilot, but...
Cessna Delta Echo Romeo Papa Yankee Denver Tower.
See, 26.
Altimeter 29.80 wind 296 at 10. Enter left traffic runway 26.
Enter left traffic runway 26. Okay, so we're going to say yes.
Fly left traffic runway 26 Cessna Papa
Now
Yankee.
again, I'm going to say, this is, I think, how the sim does it. So it says left runway 26. We see that right there, right? And we're seeing that we're at, 51. So 26 would be here. So again, it is kind of picking something that's in a straight-on direction, because if we look now, we better look at the map. You better know where you're going. So 26. 26 is left? What did you say? Fly left runway 26. 26 only has one runway. And 26 is going to be off of 35, and this is where it gets confusing because you could fly into 25, and that's going to be 25. So we want 26. So 26 is going to be here with the 2 runways that way. And it has an elevation of 5,294 feet because we're in Colorado. Left? Fly left, traffic runway. Oh, it doesn't say 26 left. Right, fly left. I'm still learning, everybody. So, we said 26, and so 26 is going to be there. That's 20, and that's 26. So, we're... Oh, crap. Well, so we get to circle. This is going to be fun. And I'm going to have to say I'm sorry for dragging the flight out. We don't need any of that. We don't need that. We don't need altitude hold. Speaking of clearing out my sinuses, no, I do not play the nose flute. It's not that I haven't thought about it, to be honest with you. It's just, I don't know how good I would be. So maybe some flaps to slow it down. We could even use our spoilers. Now there, see, I would imagine that T-Mob is at the airport that we want to be at, and that's what I'm saying. How are we going to hit 26? Saying left 26. So maybe we could. If we roll out here, I heard you. Landing gear, landing gear, landing gear. See, so that's kind of the slightly annoying thing about this aircraft. And I know that you can go into the config files if you happen to know something about the config files, and you can actually make it be quiet, which can be very peaceful at times. Like, I do not want to hear landing gear, landing gear. And you see, also, so my spoilers were deployed, and now they're going to be deployed again because I do not want to gain too much speed. And I guess, also, today, we're doing a scary pony landing, kind of, right? I mean, this is not exactly... my imaginary passengers are just going to have to be adventurous today. Right? So I'm not quite there. So maybe I don't have to do such a scary pony landing to get them to 26. But it is going to be behind me. I heard you. So when you bring the flaps back in... Oh no, it goes by airspeed and angle. And I guess it goes by spoilers, too. Really? Anyhow, so 5,294, that's the magic number on the magic number chart. And right now I'm at 31,000 feet, so I've got quite a while to go. And I really am trying to avoid the scary pony landing. And I'm really sorry, you guys. We are going to have to listen to that the entire way down. What? My flaps are up. The spoilers are retracted. That's obnoxious. Can I hit? There's no way to shut him up. So there's no way to make that be quiet. Wow. It's kind of unbearable, I suppose. Right. Well, that'll shut him up. We just disengaged the auto throttle. So I was coming in too slow, and the computer was like... Windows. The computer was like obviously some, chintzy... It's obviously some chintzy operating system that's kind of buggy. And it's like, It doesn't know what I know. I know we're going to be fine. I know we're going to be fine. Maybe.
Southwest 1852, follow the aircraft on final. Wind 297 at 10.
Getting a little
Clear
bit
to
of...
land runway 25. Clear to land runway 25, Southwest 1852.
And so the question is can I win between overspeed and landing gear? And it doesn't sound like the same guy. So maybe the plane has a bunch of people in its digital head too, and they're like overspeed, landing gear. You know, there's like two dudes that live in the they live in the software somewhere of the plane, and they tell you what to do. You know, they're all, hey idiot, you're gonna rip the wings off the plane. I'll be like, well, that's what I do. And one's gonna be like, dude, you're coming in too slow. Don't forget your landing gear. And hey, that's important. If you've ever seen my videos, I'm sure you might have even done it yourself, you could be like, did I forget to put the landing gear down? Yes, you did. You got so caught up in everything else. And a little bit of spoiler. That's why I love this plane. You can just deploy the spoilers, the speed brakes. Well, you know, so it's a GA plane. I guess we could call it air brakes and, you know, not be berated by our fellow pilots. But what if we were a reservist pilot and then, you know, we had that conversation? We were like, dude, and then I deployed the air brakes as I was coming in to Denver International. With a plane full of people that live in my head. And they'd be like, Buckaroo, no more flying planes for you. So, 26, right. Not 26, right. Correct. Runway 26. Headed left. That's what he meant. Speaking of which, let's do all of our big boy things, put our landing lights on. That's kind of important. And we really shouldn't land until he says clear to land, and so I want to see if I can visually get the airport in sight, and, you know, how could you miss it? Honestly, how could you miss this thing by the way it looks? Now, if you're Buddhist, it's one thing. Yeah. But anyways. And I really am kind of sorry if I have offended anybody. I guess. Not my goal. And I didn't build the airport. But at any point, but I guess there's a little bit of sarcasm that you gotta be able to handle when you're watching my streams. Come on. I think that's it. That big open space, maybe. Hard to say. It's going to be right off the wing. Oh, it's going to be there. I am putting this in the wrong place. I'm thinking. It's hard to say. Well, it's been a while since I've been to Denver, and not necessarily sure, as I'm about 3 times the height of the runway. Right. To get there. He said runway 27.
Follow the generic on
How are you going to get to runway 27?
at 11.
If you don't even know where you're going. Well, I'm looking at my magical map here, and I have it zoomed out, right? In, out.
Southwest 1852.
At some point he's going to talk to me, and that's why I changed my thing to something that I can recognize. Yep, that's going to be Denver, where T-Mob is. And hey, that's one of the great things when you have the live player mode on, or you have the nameplates on. With like an AI mode, is there's usually, sometimes, not always, going to be someone sitting at your destination. And so you could say, I have no idea where I'm going. And that's why I'm saying real pilots in real life don't have that. It wasn't like, someone's like, I'm going to magically put that there because you don't know where you're going. But, well, that gives me an idea. Uh-oh. Don't give Pony ideas. You might not like the results. Maybe. Okay, so again, I'm going to cover this, that I was watching a bunch of YouTube videos. Now, it's amazing at what you can learn by watching YouTube. And again, I'll put my disclaimer in of, you cannot take my flights as sound advice on the right practices to fly a plane. They're probably like the opposite. So it'd be like, I'm going to watch his videos, so that, I can learn how to not fly a plane. But I think I'm doing pretty well without terrifying the passengers, right? The imaginary passengers in my head. If I give them names, then we're in trouble, right? And I'm going to assume that we are going to not fly around Denver. But we're going to do this the right way. And granted, see, that's probably runway 26. Now, granted here, I'm going to share this with you. I have no idea how many times I've actually flown into this airport virtually, but more than enough. So, and not like just as of this recording. I mean, like prior to it. We're trying to do this all in one take. I bet you someone's blocking my runway, and they're going to say, go around to the most confusing airport in the world. So when should I drop my gears? Right? I probably should put some flaps on. Right? Flaps are our friends. And cutting back on the throttle is our friends, because our true airspeed is 297 knots. Dude, you did not. You did not. Didn't you say... What runway? Pony, Denver, Cessna, 26. Okay, so, no, that's 26. That's 26. And by the way, just in case anyone's curious, when I'm recording this, it's lunchtime. This was, oh man, really, dude. So someone's there in front of us, and we're gonna have to be really slow with our approach, because it's probably gonna ask us to go around. And today, I don't think I want to go around for the computer, because UAL looks like, that's what I'm talking about. That's like United American Airlines or something, and that's, or United Airlines. I really don't want to circle around. So that was one of the things I thought they fixed in the sim was, it was actually favoring the AI traffic for a while. We really got to slow this thing down if we're going to make that. And it was allowing the AI traffic, it was giving them priority over the actual players. And then it would have you go around, and at some point, even I got really frustrated, and I was like, dude, I am not going around 17 times. I don't have time for that. This is a sim. I've got a job to go to. You know, I planned this out so I could take a shower and still go to work. You know, or I gotta go to sleep, or I gotta go make dinner, whatever it is. And you're telling me go around 17 times? Even 7 times. It's like, really? I'm here. Put me in the queue, make me a priority, and kick some of the other lunkheads out. Kick the bit brains out. Make them go around. So we'll see. It's probably going to tell me don't. And that actually looks like... It looks like there's 2. Dude, we're doing this, everybody. So... That's what I'm going to say. Don't do this in real life. And I really am trying to... drop my gears. I really am trying to make this semi-realistic, but... And maybe this is kind of semi-realistic, that it would put that many aircraft in my way. Right? It would say, hey, here comes this jet, and, you know, we're going to put all these planes in its way. If NC44CB can sit there behind UAL1455, then DERP-Y can get in here. It's not my fault. Ugh. Alright.
Cessna Papa Yankee number 2 for landing. Follow the generic on final. Wind 267 at 11.
I'll take it as
Clear
the...
to land runway 26.
Awesome.
Denver Airport information
Okay.
To land runway 26
Awesome.
2 Cessna Papa Yankee.
So there we are. So number 1 is UAL1455, and whoever the generic is in, like, the Cessna behind me is going to have to wait. Put me in the right line. I'm number 2. It tells me to go around. I'll tell you what. Oh, get off the runway. Yeah, I don't have time for you. Well, at least it's not going to tell me landing gear, landing gear, landing gear as I come in at 211 knots. So 500 feet above the actual ground. As we come in not straight. Come on. Get off the runway. UAL 1455. No spoilers.
Cessna Papa Yankee, go around.
Nope. 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 Not today. So...
Cessna Papa Yankee, please acknowledge.
Here's my acknowledgement. Hopefully there's enough runway left. I mean, it is high altitude. There's my acknowledgement, everybody. I acknowledge that I have landed.
Did you hear my last transmission?
I certainly did. You said I was number 2 to land. So that's how to not land a plane in real life. I'm pretty sure that they would just, like, revoke your license for that. But if you look, I got us here.
Papa Yankee, did you copy?
Yes.
Going around Cessna Papa Yankee.
I'm going around. See, I'm going around right here. Going around by shifting the plane to the left, and by taxiing off the runway.
Yankee ATC services terminated.
Fine. Good day. Exactly. I'm gonna get a letter from the FAA about this, aren't I? Be like, you, dude. You. So exactly, that's my disclaimer, and I am sticking to it. Do not fly like me, because, well, you'll get yourself killed. So I accept no responsibility whatsoever. Oh, I didn't even use my thrust reversers. That's a bummer. Well, that was an option. It was definitely an option. It was an option. But everybody's here. And that was truly not a legal or safe landing. But I got us here, and we're here. And, you know, I don't know. Could you really see that through the side windows? Now I'm going to have an argument, or the imaginary people in the imaginary cabin that now live in my head are going to be like, Mr. Hearn, that's not what I paid for.
United 2074 follows the generic on upwind. Wind calm cleared to land runway 25.
You know, it's more dangerous when they just frown at you
2074.
and they don't pull a Karen or Darren. Because then chances are, you know, it's just, yeah. Like I said, I mean, I'm pretty sure that the air traffic controller is going to report me to the virtual FAA, and they'll be like, oh, Pony's a fighter pilot in some virtual fighter group, so, you know, I mean, maybe he won't be flying GA planes anymore, but, you know, anyways. So we can go in all kinds of directions with this, with our fantasies, couldn't we? So here we are, right? And should we just pull into GA? We could pull in over here. It's a terminal. I mean, we could always go see the really pretty... well, let's go the long haul. I mean, I cut in front of 2 planes to land. I did something incredibly dangerous. And virtually I could have gotten us killed. Right? But we're going to go to this beautiful main passenger terminal because there's other places to park, right? Past the, like, the jet blast things, gates. What are those things called? I know they're like diffusers. You see them at every airport. So we could park, like, somewhere over here. There's like special parking for GA planes at Denver. And again, the sim doesn't always. And I do have an old Denver add-on pack, by the way. So this is apparently not the default scenery. I know I got my scenery from flightsim.to. They're saying, really? You're gonna, you know, you're gonna promo that? But it's like, well, it's free. I mean, how hard is it to promo something that's free?
United 2074 go around.
So it is. It's free. So the add-on was free, so it's not bad. So, and I forget who does this one. I'd have to dig through my folder to go through it. But hey, here we are. We're at Denver, and, you know, everyone got here safely and securely. And I really want to complete this flight because I want to get to the gate. And that looks good to me. Because I really don't want these people in my head anymore. So... they're already starting to act up. And I don't need that. I really don't. So that looks like that's for big boy planes, and we're not flying that. And I'm actually just at this point kind of even ignoring the taxiways, which is bad. Alright. And I'm going to say that that looks fine to me. I'm pretty happy with that. This is where we're going to be, everybody. That looks good. A little bit of a stretch. Get them out of my plane. Come on, a little more. Throttle. And we could even split the throttles and just use one engine to push in conjunction with our rudder pedals to get us to the taxi line. And if you look, it's brilliantly done, so it's actually just big enough to get this plane in to the gate. And I mean, one would imagine that this is actually like someone's personal plane, the way I've decorated the livery. So I'm pretty sure that Rarity's not going to be happy if she's back there. But here we are. We're at the gate in the Canalot Princess, and we landed, and we're at Denver, and we made it on one shot. So I'm happy with myself, and that was a weird glitch, but I'm happy with myself. I'm happy with my landing abilities. And unfortunately, like I said, there is no passenger cabin, so you really can't... Oh, see, and I was in the cockpit, so I didn't get to hear all the warnings. So you really can't open doors, and we should probably put the imaginary yoke back. You know, we really can't open doors and all that stuff. And I know I said I was going to show you how to start up the plane, so how about really quickly I just kind of show you how to shut it down. Because startup is pretty much the reverse of shutdown. So we're going to imagine, and sometimes it lets you have ground power. So we're going to imagine that, right. We're going to imagine that our GPU's on the ground, and we're going to say, I'm going to turn those batteries off in a second. We're going to say they're getting ready to hook it up, and I'm going to say, so then let's kill these things, right? So let's do that. So let's open the covers, and it's on run, put it on stop, put it on stop, and that's pretty much going to kill the engines. And then we're going to say, okay, so power, batteries are off, the bus tie's open, it's on. Click on the warning, because I don't need the bongs and the bings going off in the background. And that, for the most part, is pretty much it. That's really all you have to do. I mean, we could turn the fuel pumps there, close the fuel circuit there, and that's not operative. So really, for this plane, that's pretty much all you have to do to turn it off. But again, I'm using the GPU, the imaginary GPU, which is not here. And look, we arrived at Denver. We arrived at our destination in one piece. As scary as it was. Well, I didn't think it was that scary, to be honest with you. Oh, that's as close as it's going to let us get. I didn't think it was that scary. And I mean, I suppose, what happens if we turn the generators off? Engine generator to off. Right, we really don't need them. We don't need the standby battery, right? I mean, that's still going to give us power, I assume. So there we are. And again, it doesn't come with a external GPU, so sorry about that. And it looks like because I did not delete the default Denver and I put the aftermarket over it, we're getting some frame rate performance that will happen. So, make a long story short, and to cut to the chase, that was it. This is the Cessna Longitude. This is, I believe it's in the premium bundle if you buy Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. Not included in the standard bundle, and it is a great plane. So, again, thank you for watching Derp Your Hooves, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the skies.